Good morning, guys. This is Sam here. Today we're gonna do this coding on the microservices, Spring microservices. I'm gonna use Spring microservices and MySQL. So typically this is my project. You can create with the Spring Boot Starter project. The project is created. I have a controller. This is more about showing the code of the Spring microservice. I have a create post controller, and this is a post controller. I annotate with the REST controller. I put request mapping annotation and I put cross origins, right? And SV post. And I'm using logger factory, and then I'm using a JDBC repository repo. I'm going to inject that. And we can ignore this post gateway and data integration and router flow integration and Spring context. These I use for the Spring integration project. So the focus here is on the Spring microservices. Mainly we will show this repo. I am injecting the post controllers. I have a post controller. I'm injecting this repo, JDBC post repository. Along with that, since I'm using Sprint integrations also, I'm injecting post gateway and data integration thing, router flow gateway, and Spring context util. Okay, so let's this we want to have in the Spring microservices. These are Spring microservices for the posts, and I'm using MySQL thing. And I will show you the form dependency file. First, let's go to the code, which is very simple here. So we have to delete the post, we have a del post method. I am annotating this method with request mapping, and the method is delete, right? And you can call the integer parse ID. When I get an ID, right, I'm getting parse integer ID. Why? Because my integer is string. I'm passing him a string. I'm getting the my ID here, right? And I get the post from the repo, and I call the repo method del post and delete it, right? Along with that, I give information. We want to inform the user, hey, it has been deleted or some errors happened, right? So we say create a map, and in the map we say message info deleted, and I create a response entity. So response entity is the class which does behind the magic, right? Or of serialization and deserialization of the POJO to the application JSON, right? And I pass HTTP. So in this case, you see the message, the map is beautifully serialized to application.json. Application/JSON, okay, behind the scene. Let's go to the post ID. If I want to the post ID, again same thing. I have a Spring's context util to get all the beans. This is for not needed, but this I did for a little, digging inside. I'm a little fond of digging and showing the log, so we did that, and that's part of the EI integration project. So now I again have the ID. I get integer.parseInt. I get the integer ID and call my repo.find by post ID. I get all the folds. Let's go to the post method also. So I want to create a new post. So the method mapping is post method, and there is a response entity and save products. Post return new response entity. This one. So the repo, you see we have a repo or JDBC repo, and that does a thing for the post. Okay, let's go to the post repo here in the thing, right? So we can go out here. Okay, this is the interface of the post repo, and we can open the implementation here, the method for this one. So this is post. Let's go to here in the packages, show in package explorer. So we see the post gateway is an interface, and interface, this is for the EA component that I've implemented, right? And this in the controller that we were injecting, but we want to go to the post repository here. So I have a controller package, I have model reactive, and before going to the model, I have a post. Post is a plain POJO. See, it's a plain POJO with ID, title, description, create POJO, right? And you can annotate with a lambbook. It's a just opinion, right? You can use the lambbook, or you can use hash code equals, which ID generates, right? Post method is there, and then we have the repository. This is the repository. We have a JDBC post repository here, and this is the post repository interface. We write the interface, we write all the methods: save, find all, find by ID, tell post ID. Again, we know the Spring query. You have to follow this: find all, find post by ID, find noun by verb ID. That's what the Spring recommends, right? To auto generate a lot of things. So behind the scenes. So now we have the post repository, we have the JDBC post repository. Let's look into the JS post repository. What is doing is find all method. Find all method is doing a JDBC. We are doing Spring JDBC. Let's go out here and look what is the, we are using JDBC template for that, and it's a post repository, right? So we are using a JDBC Spring template, and we are injecting the JDBC template, and then we are using map row to project. So there is a famous mapper also. There is a result set and row number. Okay, let's first go to the find all method. Find all method does not need. So we have a JDBC template which has a method called query. In the query, you pass him a select all, and you call the mapper. This map to row mapper receives a result set, and you can return the pojo that we are requesting post. So in this case, map rotor is getting result sets and the row number, and it is returning a post, right? So, and all you are doing is you get the rs new post and description. So this is the finder done. Let's quickly go to the find post by id. So overrideable, find post by id, JDBC query for object, simple, and map router with a unique id. With one id, it will give you one object, right? Okay, if I don't get it, I'm going to throw an exception, right? And throw new page found exception, right? So otherwise I return one, p1. Okay, and delete post by id, I call jdbc.update delete with id. Okay, and where is there is a cache post. So let us create to greater. I'm also implementing a custom quality greater than id all. If you pass a page id, we get the id and the page id, then we'll get the array list of the port. Find post by id first, find post by second, we add the two posts and send that thing. Okay, let's do the find all and new post. For new post, save post, very simple. You create your pojo, right? We are getting a post directly from the controller. So all we need to do is I am just putting a timestamp to create, right? Default timestamp, there's a timestamp class. You call timestamp and it passes the time. You'll create a timestamp, and then you say created date created at, and JDBC update insert new post, get description created at. Okay, timestamp is being passed into that one because post I'm passing in the timestamp. So and return the new post. So this is the JDBC repository, and let's quickly go to the POM to show the dependencies of the Spring Boot starter. So we have a Spring Boot starter, and if you go carefully here, we have a Spring Booter data Redis I'm using for the Redis caching and integration, and this is a Spring Booter JDBC, very important, right? This is all about, and then I have a Spring this JDBC does SQL. Thank you guys, and have a great day.